think I'm going to start. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. You will learn how to be a good parent after a bad childhood, or in other words, how to break the generational cycle of dysfunctional parenting, just in a matter of weeks. And I'm going to talk about my personal experience and my experience as a parent coach and a hypnotherapist. I'm going to talk about the 5-step process to become an empowered and gentle parent. My name is Stephanie Fernandez, and I'm really happy that you found your way here today. So what I will teach you today will put an end to disassociating from your child, not being present in the family. It will put an end to not enjoy playing with your child. You might experience that in your parenting, being annoyed easily over small things and not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. Having really no desire to make love with your partner because you're simply too exhausted and you have a million of other things in your mind that you prioritize. Wishing to disappear or hide, yelling and angry outbursts in front of your child and feeling guilty afterwards is something that many parents experience. Regular crying and hopelessness. You will discover why it is not just learned behavior. I'm going to guide you step by step through the very process I used to become the parent I always wanted to have and the parent I want to be for my children. What if your child is just trying to lure you out of the crab shell that you acquired when you were little? So who is this masterclass for? This masterclass is for parents who are navigating parenthood through thick fog, who don't feel in control. If you don't feel in control, or you feel that this is a phase in your life that you're not really enjoying, that you cannot enjoy because there's just simply too much to do and it's just too hard. Or if you're stuck in the limbo of tasks and duties day after day. Make sure that you are completely undistracted for the next half an hour approximately. Turn off your phone and make sure that your kids are taken care of. Find yourself a quiet spot in the house without social media or kids or your husband. Have something to take notes with. The message I have for you today may change your life and the life of your child. My promise to you is that in the next 30 minutes, you will discover the steps I used to become a gentle, present, and empowered parent without having had a role model. So my name is Stephanie Fernandez, and I no longer hurt my children with dysfunctional parenting patterns, resulting in chaos, power struggles, saying hurtful words, and disempower my child and diminish their self-worth. And there are plenty of parenting programs out there. There are books, Facebook groups, all trying to fix your child, trying to fix you. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing really wrong with you. I'm taking a unique approach, helping you to achieve the balance you are looking for, the balance that you are longing for so much in your family and within yourself. I know this because I have went through it. The anger, the rage, the sadness, the overwhelm, the constant fighting, the power struggles. And most importantly, I'm done with it. I have healed my triggers and there's nothing left to be triggered. I have found a unique way of becoming the loving parent I always envisioned myself to be. I have dedicated myself to find a real solution for mothers, one that is sustainable and authentic, for a better future for our children. First, I found this for myself, and now for others. And now that I'm free of it, I want to help as many mothers as I possibly can. You are unique. You have experienced things that no one else did before. And that is why we need to take a unique approach in guiding you through your parenting. You might yell too much and you might get sad. You might find your child is disrespecting you. These are all triggers, and we're going to find out what is the root of these triggers. What are the struggles that you're experiencing? Behind every angry behavior is a deep unhealed wound, and that is in particular relevant for the anger we feel as mothers. It doesn't even need to be mom rage. It can be, but it can also be reoccurring, just anger and angry outbursts, resulting often in authoritarian parenting styles, because as we grew up, it was easier to be angry than sad. And then as children, and as we grew up, we unlearned to feel the sadness. Or you might find it difficult to engage with your child. All you want is to be by yourself on a regular basis. That you prefer to stay on your phone, scrolling through Facebook or playing stupid games on your phone. And you don't find connection with your child because you find it hard to look up. In my experience, the real reason why you are continuing the cycle of dysfunctional parenting is not because you are a bad parent or a bad person, not because you have never learned to behave differently. The reason is because you're not healed from your own upbringing. You need to heal the emotional pain that you endured when you were a child. You might find yourself struggling with setting healthy boundaries, avoiding the conflict with your child and giving in all the time. You might find yourself that it's not authoritarian parenting styles that is difficult for you to let go, but also power under, where you just don't have control over your child, resulting in a lack of rules for your child, for example. But not only you as a parent might experience symptoms of dysfunctional parenting. Your child shows defiance and disrespect. Intentional messes are a day-to-day in your family. They might show laziness and procrastination. This is the next thing that you find, besides your own symptoms, what your child shows on a daily basis. Or they might be angry. They hit, they bite, they kick, they throw. There's lots of sibling rivalry and you simply don't know how to handle it, and lots of disobedience. The sadness that children show is a symptom that sometimes things are not going really well at home. Lack of communication, or you feel that there's generally a lack of joy and happiness in your family. Children especially don't have the cognitive ability to be aware of their reactions and their behavior. So they need you as a parent to regulate their nervous system and to learn how to react and respond. They need you to model the behavior you want them to have. And most importantly, they have needs that are not being met in the moment, which is what they're communicating with the unwanted behavior. Imagine that you're taking a flight, for example, and the pilot is very nervous, shouting and screaming because there's some turbulences. Would you feel safe? Would you feel calm? No, you wouldn't. You would be probably very concerned too. And imagine that you are the pilot in your family and your children are the passengers. You need to make sure that they feel safe. Your body is telling you something when you are triggered, and your mind is telling you something with all the dysfunctional behavior that you are showing unconsciously as a parent. And there is healing to be done from deep emotional pain on the subconscious level. That is why what I do works, because we heal the wound at the root, the wounds that are being triggered by your child. And here's a little metaphor that I came up with to describe what is happening in us when we become parents. You have acquired a protective shell around you when you grew up, and the triggers you're feeling at the moment as a parent, as your child, is an attempt of your child to lure you out of that crab shell. They want you to be authentic. They want you to be vulnerable. They want to connect with you. But it's too scary for you to live a life without that protective shell. You have lived with it all your life, and it worked. But as soon as you become a parent, it didn't work anymore. Your child needs you. You can't hide and you can't pretend anymore. The emotional load of being a parent is already so big that there is no energy left to carry that crab shell with you. The emotional and hormonal shift you experience as a parent amplifies all this. And not only that, but science proves that our brains change, we change as we become mothers. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only parent coach that uses rapid transformational therapy to heal parents' wounds and in turn give space for their children to thrive. There are plenty of parenting programs out there, and you might have already tried some, and you have read books, and you're talking to your friends, and you're talking to other members of Facebook groups, but somehow you didn't really find a trick that helps you to become the empowered parent you really want to be. I know this because I have went through it. And I know it because I've healed it. So I want to take you through the journey from freedom, from triggers, and I want to explain you that in 4 stages. So in the first stage, you think that there is nothing wrong with you, but your kids are to blame really for your reactions, or your husband, or your own parents. After all, it's their behavior that makes you mad. You wouldn't be mad just laying on the couch reading a book, right? The second phase, you're starting to think that maybe there's more to the story. Maybe you have a part in this chaos too, and every time you are upset, your child's behavior changes drastically too. And in this third stage, you might stay in that stage for some time, but you are not really improving. Life goes on and your kids get older. You know that it's you. You turn to self-help books, you read all the tips on social media from parenting influencers, and you talk to your friends, your partner, but you can't see a solution. You know that the happiness in your family starts with you, but you're denying the responsibility for healing until you realize the negative effect your mental and emotional state has as a parent has on you and on your child. And your pain might not be your fault, and your triggers might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal from it so that your child won't grow up with the same history over emotional baggage, with the same stuff that you grew up with. The fourth stage is really the stage when you realize that there's nothing else you can do unless you take responsibility. There's nobody to blame and nobody's coming to save you. Your own parents don't understand and cannot guide you. Your partner cannot do the parenting alone, and your kids will not change unless you do. This is when I realized that only I can save myself. I'm responsible for the atmosphere in the home. If I wanted to raise emotionally healthy kids, and if I want to have a strong bond with them, if I want to be able to show up for them and raise them being present and compassionate, I had to do something about my pain. And that was really the start of my healing journey. And because I have experienced the pain and the lack thereof afterwards, firsthand, I am now helping mothers to achieve the same. Because I know it is possible. I know it is possible to be well as a parent, despite children's needs, appointments, milestones, maintaining friendships and a love life, laundry and dinners, snacks and holidays. So what did I do to get there? I have a parent coaching certificate, but that would not address the parent's pain, right? That would not address generic advice on how to deal with kids' behavior, which wouldn't solve really anything. That would not solve the root cause. Generic parenting advice is not the solution. And I knew I had to go deeper. That's when I first learned about RTT. My baby was just a few months old when I went to a dinner party of a very dear friend. I wasn't in a good place, but I decided to go anyways. Little did I know that this evening would change my life. Over lamb stew, I talked to a woman who would later become my therapist about removing the thorn in my stomach. And I knew instantly, this is what I have. This is what I need. I need you to remove it. What I learned later on was that this incredible method, Rapid Transformational Therapy, would help me understand all my struggles. And all of a sudden, like everything made sense. The way I led my life, my relationships, my professional performance, but most of all, the guard I had to let down with the birth of my son without really feeling ready to commit myself to the life I want to have. And that's when I found Marissa Peer. What I learned later on was that this incredible method, RTT, was developed by Marissa Peer. And she fine-tuned this method for 30 years. You can look her up and check her out. She has plenty of videos on Mindvalley and YouTube. She's this award-winning therapist that has taken the world by storm. She's working with clients, international superstars, CEOs, royalty, and Olympic athletes to solve their stuff. And in just one session, I silenced my inner critic. I silenced the compulsive, obsessive thoughts I had. And I knew instantly that this method is so powerful and it can help other parents too. Thanks to Marissa Peer and my wonderful RTT therapist, and combining that, what I know today, with parent-centric coaching tools, I am now on my parenting journey exactly how I always wanted to be. I am free of my own pain. I'm raising two wild, wonderful boys with the best husband in the world. And the most important is that I could create a life I love, thanks to RTT. And if my kids' behavior would trigger me in an unwanted way, if I would have a response where I think, where does that come from? Why am I so angry? Why am I so sad? Then I know how to deal with it. I know how to go to the root cause of it, resolve it there, and don't put the pain on my children. And it's exactly this method that I use today to help mothers to break cycles of toxic parenting styles. Each generation of parents unconsciously relates to their children in dysfunctional ways. And these patterns repeat themselves from generation to generation until one generation catches on and decides to break the cycle. And this is what I consider myself and all my clients. We are cycle breakers, we are chain breakers, but we don't think we are better than the generations before us. We are uplifting everyone around you. We are uplifting our own families. We're uplifting the generations before us. Everyone benefits from the work we are doing. And the most effective way I found to break the generational cycle of dysfunctional and harmful parenting is RTT. So with RTT, you can access the memories that are stored in your subconscious mind that are usually very difficult to retrieve. But these memories, they have all to do with the triggers, with understanding the unhealed wounds that your mind just buried, not knowing really what to do with all the pain. With RTT, I will help you to find those memories and identify them with you and heal the pain that arose from these experiences. Because it's not what happens to us that hurts. It is what happens inside of us as a result of that. Really what you have tried as a child to make sense of, the world around you, the experiences that you had, the reactions of your parents or other caregivers around you. With RTT, you will be able to look at your childhood experiences as the smart adult you are today, with a fully cognitive, developed brain. You will be able to change the meaning that you have attached to those experiences, these beliefs that are still running your life and that are impacting your behavior, the behavior you have with your children. The reasons and the struggles for the issues that you're facing today can be reinterpreted through RTT. So what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite your past and your future to live exactly the life that you want to live. I developed this unique program, one of its kind. It's a holistic parent-centric program that utilizes the best of RTT, becoming aware of your pain and your struggles and healing your wounds. You will establish supportive beliefs that serve you in your life as the adult you are today. Once you find the root cause of your behavior, everything shifts. Your beliefs create your thoughts, and your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings create your behavior. Once you will be able to change your belief, This will change everything. And I combine this with the latest findings of brain and mind science and nervous system science and human development. You will understand your child's behavior and development better. You will get the tools to connect with your child on a deep and authentic level for the long run. No matter how old your child is, it's never too late. One of the greatest gifts we can give future generations of our lineage and humanity as a whole is to continue our own personal evolution as parents. I'm going to talk you now through the 5-step process to become an empowered and gentle parent. So with this 5-step process, you won't no longer need strategies to achieve harmony in your home. Strategies such as threats to control your child's behavior, fear-based obedience, manipulation via dangling rewards for wanted behavior. You will not need to spank or pinch or swat or slap. You will not need to enforce consequences to teach your child a lesson, or you don't need to parent anymore from fear. Parenting with helplessness and despair will be a thing of the past. You will not need timeouts or shame corners anymore. You will not have power struggles out of desperation, and there will be no lying and no more secrets that are harmful for your family. So the first step is to create presence. So we live in a disconnected world, even on occasion disconnected from ourselves. And most of us spend most of the time in a reverie of our thoughts, feelings, and distractions. The practice, and it is really a practice of presence, allows us to be with our children fully, so we can meet them in the now and create new ways of relating, problem solving, and cooperation. Before responding to any parenting situation, take as little as 3 seconds to ground into your anchor. Get as present as possible. When you approach a parenting scenario not present, rooted in your body and internal safety, you could easily escalate the entire scenario. Remember the example I gave about the pilot. If you, as the pilot in your family, is fearful and not calm, is yelling and shouting and creating a very nervous environment in your home, the passengers, your children, will not be able to connect with you. After presence has been established, we get to connect our right brain to our child's right brain. And we get to do this by showing empathy and emotional connection. We get to connect with feelings and needs. No need to fix, change, or save your children from the feelings. You don't need to save or avoid any conflicts. You can use these growth moments from presence and inner safety. We can simply be. You can simply be with your child. You can simply be with your own emotions, feelings, and needs. You will learn how to feel safe within your own body, safe within the experiences that you had. And you can name and identify feelings and needs as a result of empathy and emotional connection. I'm going to teach you how to identify how you're feeling and to be able to cut the loop of feeling to behavior to reaction. So you need to feel it in order to heal it, and name it to tame it. And there are really so many benefits of cultivating empathy in your relationships. And you will see when you practice empathy and real connection with your child, it will become easier also for other people around you. The third step is acknowledging what is true. And me personally, I totally love that, because it is about acknowledging what is true in your emotional, physical, and mental body. Part of giving empathy to yourself is being very honest with yourself about your feelings in that moment. And they may not be those thoughts or feelings that you want, those thoughts or feelings that you want to act on, like this kid is driving me crazy, or I just want to leave. I'm done with this. I'm out of here. Don't edit these thoughts or feelings. It is important to acknowledge them, no matter the situation. If you judge or try to suppress your thoughts or feelings, they could emerge later, possibly in not the healthiest way. So telling yourself, I shouldn't be this angry, just makes your emotions stronger. What we resist persists and strengthens. So far in the process, we have mindfully named and consciously communicated our feelings and needs with clarity and self-responsibility. And the fourth step is really to learn how to consciously communicate your feelings and needs, and to teach the child to consciously communicate their feelings and needs. What is true about the current circumstance or a certain situation based on an objective viewpoint is the baseline for this. So there's no anymore right or wrong, it's your fault, or this is what you did. You will learn how to meet your child with curiosity. And this is only possible when you're not triggered anymore. That is why RTT is such a crucial part in this entire parent coaching program, because only when you can be present and calm in the moment, you can listen and you can meet your child with curiosity and understand where they are coming from, understanding what is their experience. There is no right or wrong experience. It is just experience. So the importance of reflecting what you hear your child is saying and asking clarifying questions without judgment really creates that trust and establishes that trust with your child. This is what you want. You want your child to trust you so that they can come to you. They can learn how to speak from self-responsibility and how to make neutral observations. We must do this as parents gracefully, so it does not appear that, as you know, we are the adults, we have all the solutions and we are invalidating our child's perception, but rather we are longing for a greater understanding. And depending on where you are in your parenting journey, how old your kids are, many parents struggle with this throughout the life of their kids. Whether their child is an irrational behaving toddler or an irrational behaving teenager, you cannot meet rational mindset. You cannot meet the feelings with a rational mindset. It's all about the feelings. It's all about the connection. So the last step in this 5-step process is how you can find exploring and how you can find space for finding a solution together. These are the concrete actions that you'd like to take. So invite your child to explore a solution together with you. You don't need to have all the answers. And these solutions are rooted in shared and previously agreed family values, for example. I believe that everyone's needs in the family are equal. I believe that anything is possible, and I believe that the parent is a safe space and here to guide the child through conflict with capability. But what does this now all mean for your home and how you parent? This will mean after the program, after you have implemented the 5-step process of becoming an empowered parent and healed your own triggers, that you will enjoy parenthood with connection and authenticity, centered in your true self. You will have better relationships with your children, but also with people around you, with other family members who might not agree with parenting style of gentle and empowered parenting, but because you are capable and able to communicate consciously and effectively, you will see how this spreads out also with other people in your environment. You will feel more centered with yourself, which is really something that me personally as a mom and also from how I healed, I think it's really invaluable. Being centered and feeling well with yourself is where everything starts. You will have more patience, more joy, and you will find it easier to balance work and family, no matter if you are a working mom, if you're highly successful, maybe you are a stay-at-home mom, or you are a single mom, maybe you have a patchwork family. It doesn't matter. You will find it easier to communicate with your child, which means that you will have less conflicts. It doesn't mean that you will need to agree on everything your child says. You will still need to set boundaries, but there will be less power struggles, and you will have a deeper connection with your child, no matter the situation, whether it is problems in school, sibling rivalry, whether it is something just between the two of you, you did something that your child didn't like. You will be able to meet their child with curiosity and meet them where they are, as the adult you are, because you are mature and you have the cognitive ability to implement all those mindset tools. And as a result, and I think we can all agree that this is really our most important mission as parents, is that we have happy children that can grow up with confidence and with a huge load of self-love. So you will gain confidence in your abilities to parent gently and calmly and with connection. So if you find yourself today thinking that you are just not that person, I'm telling you now that you can be it, and you will gain confidence exactly to be the parent you want to be, because it's you who decides, nobody else. You can empower your child and you can empower yourself. But don't take just my word for it. These are the results that I experienced myself. And these are the results that are replicated by the women I work with. So mothers who don't act out anymore due to mom rage, moms who sit down now with their child and talk and be present, moms that never played before with their children because they just didn't enjoy and they didn't know what it actually meant to play, are now enjoying it. Moms who know how to set gentle boundaries, being able to fill their own cup with self-care and help their child through big emotions. My first RTT session, this was what Shelley from the US said about working with me, especially after her first RTT session, because it just revealed so much from her past that she unconsciously carried into her parenting. So my first RTT session with Stephanie was so revealing. I never saw how my anger was connected to my pain and sadness. And most importantly, I never thought that my pain is the cause for my son's behavior. I am confident now that I can use all the tools Stephanie gave me and apply them so that my son grows up with a gentle mom. I am no longer an autopilot by my triggers. And that is just a beautiful testimony. And I think so many of us can relate to this behavior and experience of being on autopilot, not really being in control. So what's next? You have a couple of options here. You can take the information that I have just given you and take some time to think about it and figure out what works best for you and your family. And then implement the 5-step process of becoming an empowered and gentle parent. You can do that, of course, by your own. There's lots of books out there on empowered parenting. However, without a highly trained RTT practitioner who specializes in parenting issues, you will have a long road ahead of you. Not because you're not committed, but simply because so much of our behavior is rooted in our subconscious mind, where all our experiences, all our behaviors, like all our feelings that we have ever felt are stored. Without being able to access your subconscious mind, you will just go round and round, just like you did until now. And the years go by and you're moving further and further away from your child until to a point when you don't know anymore who they are because you simply don't know how to reach them. Or you have a second option. If you're like the mothers I described that successfully healed, and if you don't have time for another school year of struggles and trouble, another year of your child's childhood just trying to survive instead of enjoying, and you want to maximize, you want to get the most results in a minimum time, you can apply for a free consultation with me. In this free consultation, we will discuss the possibility of working together to give you what you need to achieve the results that you desire. And I have already mentioned it, that I'm going to take a very unique approach. Each parent is unique. Each parent situation and family situation is unique. So we're going to really look at what it is that you desire. And this can happen much quicker with a combination of RTT and parent coaching. And if this is for you, I'm going to add the link in the captions of this masterclass, and you can apply for a free consultation and a strategy session. I only work with a small group of moms at a time. And because we are all unique, and this is, I know this works for you, you need to be ready, acknowledging your role in the family. It's very important that you come with a mindset, with an open mindset of that you have a responsibility and that there's nobody else that is going to save you or change unless you do. You are the predictor for your future and the future of your children. Applying this successful method and holistic method of RTT and parent coaching really brings out the best in you as a person and as a parent. You need to be ready, as I said, you need to acknowledge your role in the family. And once you schedule a free call with me, we can discuss the triggers that you're experiencing and your desired outcomes, really. So let me remind you who this is for. This is for mothers who find themselves overwhelmed and not enjoying parenthood. Mommies who don't know how to deal with their child's behavior, and moms who acknowledge that their emotional state has an impact on their child's behavior. Mothers who want to heal from their own upbringing, becoming empowered and gentle parents so that their child doesn't need to grow up with generational baggage. This program is for you if you had enough, but you don't know how to start. If you're fed up of trying without seeing results. Start enjoying motherhood. This can be the time in your life that you enjoy instead of just surviving it. Book your free clarity call now because you deserve to be happy in your new life. And I promise you, you can be happy.